Queen of Tears had me in tears because of the drama, the second chance romance, and the melodramatic subplots that were so cringy and predictable, but very much appreciated. Queen of Tears is about this married couple, Haley and Jonathan, that grew to hate each other in their very much short marriage of 3 years, and how they're rekindling their romance once they find out that Haley has a terminal disease. Dun, dun, dun. When I first decided to watch Queen of Tears, I went in with zero expectations. Let me tell you what my preference for romance dramas are. I love the emotional stuff. I love the melodramatic stuff. I love those cringy, cute, and quirky scenes between couples. And put a little love triangle in the mix. And there has to be a happy ending. Oh, I'm sold, baby. I am sold. And Queen of Tears was that show for me. So there's 16 episodes in this series, and these episodes are about an hour and a half or maybe even longer. So yeah, you're basically watching 16 mini movies. I loved all of the characters. Like, this is one of the first shows that I watched where I'm just like, I love the characters, y'all. I even loved the villain. The villains gave like, yo, if I ever saw them in real life, I'ma think that you are the one that tries to break up my friend's marriage, or you're the evil stepmother. I'ma really think that you're like this in real life, because the way they play these roles so well, give them all of the money, okay? And I need to see them in more things. And of course, since this is focused on a married couple, I genuinely love the romance between them. I love seeing how they disliked each other from the beginning, borderline hated each other, to falling so in love with each other again and confessing their feelings for each other, saying, I love you, boo, I love you so much. There were so many cute and amazing moments in this show. I was just like, how you just gonna give us all of these cute moments that's making my stomach flutter like in one series? Like, how you gonna do that? I'm not gonna lie, at first I was just like, why is Haley so mean to Jonathan? And Jonathan, why are you so passive, and why are you okay with getting mistreated by this woman and her family? I'm not gonna lie, it was slightly problematic. I probably wouldn't deal with this. No, not probably. I would not deal with this in real life. I would not condone this in real life, but I feel like because it's a show, we could kind of give it a pass. But y'all, Haley was so mean to Jonathan. Like, this girl was telling him to go blow dry your hair. He was trembling. He was scared to talk to her. He was scared to make eye contact with her. He was scared that she was gonna strike him at some times. And I'm like, oh, this is a little problematic. This is giving abuse, but okay. All right. And y'all, I knew this show was slightly problematic when Jonathan was talking to his cousin, I believe, and he was talking about how he wants to divorce Haley, right? He was just like, I am so sick of Haley and her family trying to control me. They're rude to me. And they did. Her family was just like, ooh wee. I could see why Haley is so cold-hearted, because her family was a hot mess in the beginning. So Jonathan made up his mind that he was finally gonna go and divorce Haley no matter what. So as soon as he's about to go and tell her, oh, I want this divorce because this last year or whatever of our marriage has been tumultuous and I'm over it, she hits him with, oh, I have this rare terminal disease and I have 3 months to live. Now, I want you to guess what Jonathan's reaction was to that. He was not sad. This man was dancing on the inside. He was so happy that she was gonna die in 3 months, because he was like, oh my gosh, she's gonna die in 3 months. So that means that I don't have to tell her that I want a divorce. I could just wait it out and I'll be a widow. I'll get her money. But the gag was that when Haley made her will, I guess, or whatever the case may be, she put it in her will that he doesn't get anything if they get divorced or if she dies. So now that he found out about this terminal disease, he's trying to figure out a way to get her to undo the will and make it so that he gets something so he could support his family. And y'all, I told you, super toxic in the beginning, right? Because bro, how you so excited that your wife is about to die? Like, all you could think about is getting her money. But honestly, guys, I wasn't mad at him because Haley treated him so bad. And I feel like I would have done the same thing. Because you have to remember, this is a very, very powerful family, if I didn't mention it before. So they had the means and access to ruin his life if needed. So in his head, he's thinking, okay, I can finally get away from this crazy family once she dies. But no, that did not happen. No. This is when their relationship kind of starts to rekindle again. and we get to see why they fell apart to begin with. While Haley just revealed that she has this terminal brain cancer to Jonathan, Jonathan is at his desk at home Googling, oh, is there any way that this could be cured? Because he wants to make sure that she is going to be gone from this earth within 3 months. There is not a chance that she'll survive. Now, Haley comes in and sees him at his computer desk, sleep, looking up this information, and she sees this, and in her head, she's like, oh my gosh, he really loves me. He wants to see that I'm going to survive. Y'all, when I tell you the amount of moments like this, I was like, yo, Haley, you're delusional. Why would you ever think that this man cares about you to this magnitude when you've literally been treating him like poo? But in Haley's mind, y'all, she really thought that Jonathan loved her, and she was like, huh, maybe I'll start being nice to him. And of course, while the main plot is going on, y'all, there are so many other subplots in these shows. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of hard to keep up with. Like, I had to keep pausing, I had to keep rewatching episodes because I'm just like, wait, okay, they just introduced like 5 new characters within 1 episode, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. Basically, while they're trying to rekindle their marriage and slowly start to feel like, you know what, I actually like this dude, we just fell out over it, which I'll get into later, their family is trying to pursue this next business venture, right? Haley, she is the new CEO of the company, and she's trying to join the $1 trillion won club. And by trying to do that, she's trying to secure this business deal, and now inserts someone from her past that she kind of had a fling with, nothing serious. And then this is where the love triangle enters the chat, and I was so here for it. So Chad enters the chat because Haley needs Chad to pursue this new business venture that's gonna take her company to the next level and get her into the $1 trillion won club. Jonathan instantly sees the interaction between Chad and his wife, Haley, and he immediately is jealous. And now, mind you, Jonathan does not like his wife. Jonathan is so excited that his wife is going to die in 3 months. So now Jonathan is genuinely confused about the fact that the jealousy inside of him is like boiling up. And he's just like, but wait, why do I feel this way about my wife? This is not normal. Like, am I supposed to feel this way? Y'all, this show was so funny. I'm just like, yes, you're jealous because you like your wife. It's okay. She treats you like trash, but you like your wife. It's okay. You're jealous. You're jealous. And Chad, y'all, when I tell you he was the perfect villain, also the most stereotypical villain, Chad already peeped game, and he noticed that Haley and Jonathan, they were not the ideal married couple. He already noticed, like, girl, you don't really like your husband like that. I could be what you want me to be. Leave your husband and come be with me. Y'all, the amount of times this man done told this woman that he is the man for her, not your husband, I'm just like, Haley, I know you don't like your man, but you're gonna let him play your husband to your face in the same proximity as your husband? But yeah, this whole love triangle thing, I'm not gonna get too much into, you guys, because when I tell you this show gives you a lot of information, we will be literally sitting here for at least 2 hours if I did a full breakdown of this show. And I'm sorry, I am not doing that. But one of the most basic tropes that you can find in a book or like a romance novel or even a K-drama, from what I've heard, is people that have known each other from childhood and then they come together as adults and like it's all connected in like some weird way. Yeah, so basically the villain, Chad, was a part of Haley's childhood. I'm trying not to give y'all too many spoilers. And he basically concocted this whole revenge plot from when he was damn near 12 years old to take down Haley and her family. So Haley is thinking that he's just entering into the chat to help her with this new business venture, and she's just so focused on entering the $1 trillion won club. She's not really paying attention to the red flags that this man was giving, because y'all, he was giving a lot of red flags. I'm just like, what's wrong with him? Who is this guy? Where did he come from? And yeah, he was low-key obsessed with Haley. And y'all, when I say obsessed, he was obsessed with her in like that Beyonce movie that she did with Idris Elba, I Want You, and if I can't have you, I'ma off you. That's how obsessed he was, and it was so delusional. It was kind of scary to watch, because in some moments he went from like, oh, I hate her so much, I want to ruin her family, to, oh, I love you so much, I've always loved you, I'm gonna help her get the best treatment ever. y'all, I was getting whiplash. And another major subplot that was super important was their grandfather of Haley. He was the owner of the company that he was passing it down to Haley, right? He had a major part in this movie because he cheated on his ex-wife and had a new wife enter into the chat. And then this is where you have the evil stepmother trope. Now, when I tell you, I was not prepared for her to be the evil stepmother until she turned into it, because when we're introduced to her character, she is so passive, she's so nice. She takes all of the disrespect from the grandfather's daughter. The daughter already called BS and was like, I don't like her. I'm willing to go back to jail because she's disrespectful to me, my family, and my mother. So she ends up being the evil stepmother. She was in cahoots with Chad to take down Haley and her family. And do you want to know the connection between Chad and evil stepmother? Insert another trope. And I'm just like, ah! Chad is the secret son of the evil stepmother. I was like, okay, Queen of Tears, y'all cannot be giving us all of this drama in one series. But guys, when I tell you these episodes are an hour and a half for a reason, they just hit you with so much information and so much juiciness. You're just like, wow. And that was the second main plot of the movie. Basically trying to get their legacy back, trying to gain their company back, because evil stepmother and Chad, they succeeded in damn near taking everything away from Haley and her family. They literally went from riches to rags. They ended up having to move with Jonathan and his family in the poor suburb town that he's from. And y'all, that was not a good look for them. They hated it because these are people that are born with money. For instance, Haley is third generation. So, you know, her parents were just like, what is this? Like, they were not with it at all. But I really like to see how the love and the camaraderie between Haley and her parents grew. Because like I said in the beginning, her parents were so cold and harsh towards Haley and Jonathan. And I think that's why Haley grew up to be the person that she was because she lacked that love and attentiveness from her parents. And her family in general, they're not close at all. But because they were brought down, they were knocked off of their high pedestal and brought down real low with the po folk that they always overlooked and made fun of. Throughout all of this and learning that Haley had a rare disease, they really got super close, and it was just so lovely to see. Another stereotypical trope, you know, it always takes you losing all of your money to realize, you know, I need to be a better person. So yeah, they became better people and they became a closer family in the end, of course. And now to get back to the main plot of the movie, which is Jonathan and Haley rekindling their marriage. Y'all, the amount of times I cried, this should have been called Christiana Face of Tears, because y'all, seeing them fall in love with each other again and realize that the reason they fell apart was over something so small that they could have talked about. We find out that Haley and Jonathan grew apart because Haley had a miscarriage. And it's not because Haley had a miscarriage is why they fell apart. It was how Haley went about it. So right when the miscarriage happened, they already had the nursery set out. They were planning their future together. They were in love. This is like right in the beginning of their relationship, right? Because they've only been married for 3 years. But I want to say when all of this happened, it was like a year into the relationship. So it's still fairly new, right? So when the miscarriage happened, Haley basically just moved all of the stuff out of the nursery. She packed up all of the stuff without consulting Jonathan. So when Jonathan came home and he sees like movers and stuff coming into the room, into the baby's room, taking all of the stuff out, he's like, what the hell is going on? Like, what are you doing with my stuff? And they're like, oh, Miss Haley said that we could remove it, like the stuff is gone. So he goes to Haley and confronts her, and he's basically like, girl, what are you doing? And Haley was like, why do we need it? I don't need to talk to you about it. It's done. We don't need it. The baby's not here anymore. And that really broke Jonathan's heart. And seeing that scene, it broke my heart too, because I was just like, sometimes when a woman goes through something like that, of course she feels it, of course, right? Because she's the one carrying the baby. But sometimes I do see that men are often overlooked in these situations. They're looked at as like, oh, you don't know what it's like. You weren't carrying the baby. We aren't hurting the same way, when it's just like, no, he lost a kid too, and he's grieving as well. And basically that started the whole catalyst of events to present day, where we see that they literally hate each other so much. And when all of that happened, that's when they started to sleep in separate bedrooms. And we really get to see like, wow, you guys got all the way to point Z, when it's just like there were so many steps in between where it's like, maybe you guys could have talked, maybe therapy. Haley really changed, y'all. So the character development for Haley was so beautiful to see, because she went from this harsh person who was just so rude, so nasty to like practically everyone, to being like a person who was more understanding. She didn't change too much, right? Because she was still like the same. She was still kind of snobby. She was still kind of snarky, but she had a level of understanding to her because of her disease, where she had more empathy for people. And I was like, wow. Okay, so you remember crazy evil Chad, right? And how he is obsessed with Haley, and he is the reason why we have the love triangle. Fast forward to the end of the show, Chad got to that point where he was just like, Haley, if I can't have you, nobody can. This man was willing to unalive Haley if he couldn't have her. I tell you, this show inserted so many plots, and I'm pretty sure I am forgetting a lot of things, but guys, 16 episodes, hour and a half each. And all of this happened within like the last 1 to 2 episodes. So evil stepmother, she ends up going to jail after she killed the grandfather that the daughter was trying to warn the granddaddy about. And I was just like, wow. It was revealed that Chad and the mother were mother and son, and they were in cahoots the whole time. It was also revealed that Haley and Jonathan knew each other when they were children, so insert fated mates trope. And it was also revealed how Chad and his mother ended up being separated. Basically, she was a trash mother child. She ends up in jail, left the son alone to pursue her career of taking down this family. And little did she know that her son was also pursuing the same career of taking down this family. A lot of plots within this movie were just like, it didn't really make sense. And it was kind of like, I guess, okay. But yes, obviously Haley ends up surviving the terminal illness. She ended up having this surgery where it cured her disease, but it wiped her memory. So we also had to go through that whole trope, child, of her forgetting who she was and falling in love with Jonathan all over again, almost falling in love with Chad because he entered the chat as Jonathan and was like, oh, I'm the real love of your life, not Jonathan. Y'all, that whole thing was crazy. But fast forward past everything I just said, right? Haley and Jonathan received their happy ending, and we get to see into the future where they had children, and Haley lived to be 80 years old, but she did unfortunately pass before Jonathan, and that's where the show ends. A very nice happy ending. So yes, this show took us on a lot of roller coasters, twists and turns. We had to jump through so many hoops and ladders, child, to get to the end to figure out certain plots. What I will say is that this show, it can be very cringy, it can be very predictable, but if you enjoy shows that have a lot of drama, a lot of emotion, a lot of character development, the chemistry between the cast was so freaking amazing. Like, everybody working together was amazing. Even the villains, you guys. Like, the villains were very much villainy. They did their thing. Overall, I give this show a 10 out of 10 because it gave what it was supposed to give. They wanted to give us a very melodramatic show with all of the feels and all of the tropes and all of the tears, and it did that. So if you made it this far, comment down below how you like this video and how you like the show Queen of Tears. If you guys would like to see breakdowns of individual episodes, let me know because I can do that. However, I feel like, I don't know if people are gonna wanna watch each episode of a series, so that's why I'm kind of straying away from doing that. But also, let me know if you guys would prefer one long video breaking down the show and all of the craziness. Now listen, that video might be an hour and some change, But I will happily make it if you guys feel like, you know what? I want to do that because these short videos, girl, you skipped over a lot of stuff and we got to talk about everything. But I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.